Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. Now, as most of you know, things have been a bit tough for us over the last month, and it's been kind of stressful, and it still is, but I just want to really thank everyone for the love and support that you've shown me, and I've decided that this is a great stress reliever for me, and so in the words of Freddie Mercury, the show must go on. Stay tuned. For this video I will be doing my May TBR, which is paying homage to the Zombie Awareness Month, which happens every May, and more specifically to the Zombiethon, which is created and hosted by the awesome Kat, my friend Kat from Kat's Novel Adventures. Be sure to check out her channel and consider joining the Zombiethon and the Readathon and the Watchathon. It's a great event and I'm definitely going to be taking part. Okay everyone, before we look at the prompts, I'm going to be reading both from my Kindle and from some proper books as well. I'm particularly proud of one book that I've bought on my Kindle, which is the Mammoth Book of Zombies by Stephen Jones, I think it is. And this is an awesome compilation. And it basically is incredibly varied, and it dates back to Edgar Allan Poe all the way to Clive Barker and Joel Lansdale. And there's really something zombie-like in this collection for everyone. It's a collection of short stories and novellas, and it is truly mammoth. I think there are 26 stories in all. Okay, let's move on to the prompts. Now, I love the way that Kat has created these prompts. She's taken each letter from zombies and created an adjective and a prompt. For instance, prompt number 1, Z for zany, is read a humorous zombie tale or zombie story. And my choice for this is taken from the Mammoth Book of Zombies. And it is a very bizarre, strange, darkly humorous tale called On the Far Side of the Cadillac Desert with Dead Folk. Now this story is not for everyone. It's a novella, and it has gun-toting nuns. It has zombie strippers, that's right, zombie strippers. And yeah, it's truly out there, and if you're not familiar with Lansdale's work, he does go to places that are maybe not completely acceptable, but I found it a lot of fun, and that is going to be a reread for me. Now this book, Mammoth Book of Zombies, I used to own when I was a teenager, and I really loved it, and I'd love to get hold of another copy. But a lot of my reading for this month, I'll be delving into those stories again. That is Z for zany. Next we have O for open-minded. Read a zombie story with romantic vibes. I just love that, a zombie love story. Okay, I know that there's a story called Later in the Mammoth Book, but I would really like to get hold of a story called Warm Bodies, which has also been made into a movie. I haven't got it as of yet, but I need to look into my Kindle, and if I find that, I will definitely be reading that as well. That is open-minded, romantic, love zombies. Fantastic. Next we have Moody, which is the third prompt, which is middle grade zombie stories, in other words by teenagers in schools, I think. Now I'll have to give this one a skip for now, but I am going to be doing a book haul soon. I'm going to go shopping at my favourite second-hand shop up the road, and I hope to fill in the gaps where I don't have all this wonderful zombie fiction and literature for these prompts. So I'll be looking for a middle grade book there at the shop. For number 4 we have Brainy, which is read something non-fiction, like an article, an essay or a book about zombies. Now the only thing I can think of right now is the introduction to the Mammoth Book of Zombies, written by Stephen Jones, and it covers the history of zombies dating back to sort of the voodoo, Haiti, all the way up to the modern era, looking at zombie history in film and in literature, and I think that basically covers this topic. I will, once again, when I go shopping and do a book haul, I might find something really interesting there as well. So this TBR is by no means complete. I might find some other books to add to it as the month goes on. Next up we have imaginative zombies. That's absolutely classic. Where you need to read a comic or a manga or a picture book about zombies. Once again, I don't have any, but I'd love to find some. That could be a lot of fun. I'm thinking along the lines of a Plants vs. Zombies kind of feel. Yeah, I'd love to find something like that in this shop. Next up we have enterprising zombies. Now these are zombies and zombie stories that made it to the big or the small screen. Now this is my first proper novel, many more to come now, and that is Stephen King's Cell. Now I'm not sure how much of a strictly zombie story this is, but I have promised myself that I'm going to read a Stephen King every month because I want to get through his entire body of work, and this was recommended by Kat, so I'm definitely going to read Cell. Okay, and before the bonus prompts we finally get to spontaneous, and that is to do a mood read. Now I have read this book, I've spoken about this book, and that is World War Z by Max Brooks. I did speak about it in my top 10 horror novels of all time, so I can see myself having a reread here sometime this month. It is a wonderful post-apocalyptic tale, but it is very different. It is a world that's almost been wiped out by zombies, but not quite, and we look at the survivors, we look at the surviving nations and how the world has changed. So it's going to be interesting to reread this book. Okay, then there's some bonus prompts, and this covers also the letters from Z down to S. And number one is zombies on the cover. Now I've chosen Dead to the World by J.N. Williamson. This is not so much a zombie on the cover, it's a bit of a stretch. It's actually a skeleton wearing a hooded tracksuit out for a jog one night. It just looks like such an interesting cover, and so I'm going to read this book and find out what it's all about. I do believe it is about the undead, so there you go. I think it sort of fits the bill. Okay, prompt number 2 is read an old school zombie book, published before 2003, and I'm combining that with number 3 mood reads, because these are both books that I found on my Kindle and that I've been looking for a long time, and I'm really looking forward to reading them this month. In fact, these are probably 2 of the first ones that I'm going to be reading. The first is Brian Keene, The Rising. And now this is a post-apocalyptic tale where the world has been overrun by zombies, and there's a father out to find his son. And this is actually a classic zombie tale, and I know that there's a follow-up that's apparently even better, but this father has to obviously fight his way through not just a zombie horde, but as is so typical in these worlds, post-apocalyptic worlds, the threat also comes from people that have turned into monsters. And the second Kindle read is Autumn by David Moody. This is another zombie post-apocalyptic tale, and 99% of the world's population have been wiped out, I think by some kind of virus, and then the dead slowly rise up. I think it's the first stage of the virus where they're just shambling corpses, they're mindless, they're pretty much harmless, and then there's a stage 2 where they start gaining some intellect or some of their basic functions, their senses, and slowly they become a lot more of a danger to the remaining 1% left on Earth. This is supposed to be very original, and I really like that premise as well. That is Autumn by David Moody. Okay, for number 4, the bonus prompt is Blood on the Cover. Now this is the book that I was supposed to read last month, but as I said, things were very difficult, and I'm determined to get to it this month, and that is Jane Slayer. by Charlotte Bronte and Sherry Browning Irwin. Now this you might not think is specifically a zombie tale, but let me read the back and find out. A timeless tale of love, devotion, and the undead. I'm not going to read any more. Case closed. And this could also fit into the romantic book as well. I loved Jane Eyre when I was a student, reading it at university, and I'd love to see the twist and the take on that tale in this little horror classic. Okay, prompt number 5 is interesting cover. Now I'm going back to Jane Slayer. Now, I think this book has a very, very interesting cover, and so it fits the bill for that prompt as well. Prompt number 6 is a zombie book that earned an award. Now I'm going back to World War Z. It had many award nominations, and now this is according to Goodreads, and it won the audio award for multi-voice performance in 2014. So that is World War Z. I'm really looking forward to rereading this. As I said, it was in my top 10 horror novels of all time. A surprise to some, but I just think this is absolutely fabulous. The final bonus prompt is to read a Stephen King zombie story. Now the first thing that comes to mind is Pet Sematary, but I'm already reading Cell, a full-length novel of Stephen King, so I'm going to go with Home Delivery, which you find in Nightmares and Dreamscapes. And this is about a widow, and she's pregnant, and she comes across the shambling corpse of her husband that's been reanimated, and this is in the middle of a global zombie outbreak. Sounds charming, sounds a lot of like family fun. Okay everyone, now I haven't touched on the Watchathon, just the Readathon, but there are definitely 2 movies that I would love to get to this month. Both comedy, horror movies, horror zombie movies. 2 really, really great movies. First one, Zombieland, and the next one probably in my top 10 horror movies of all time, and that is Shaun of the Dead. An incredibly intelligent horror movie with Simon Pegg, and it's just, this movie pays homage to so many of the old classics like We're Coming to Get You, Barbara, and from the Night of the Living Dead. And I'm looking forward to watching these for some light relief, comic relief. So everyone, that's it for my May Zombiethon TBR. Let me know what you think in the spaces down dark below. Have you read any of these books? Would you recommend any of these books? Do you have any other suggestions? Please be sure to like and subscribe. Take care, keep those pages turning, and see you next time.